If your piano playing needs some serious rhythm help, then you're gonna wanna keep watching because I'm gonna show you how you can go from frustrated to knowing exactly how to figure out the rhythm and the counting for any song on the piano, whether the song is super simple or more complex. To be naturally gifted in rhythm or whatever that means. You just have to know how to break the rhythm down into a way that you can understand and then play. Okay, so step number one for figuring out the rhythm for any song is first and foremost, you want to look at the time signature at the beginning of the song. Time signature just tells us how many beats are inside of each measure of music. So music is divided up into measures or like little boxes where you'll find your notes and your rhythm. And so inside of each measure, we have a certain amount of beats. So the time signature tells us how many beats are inside of each measure. So for example, in 4/4, the top number tells us how many beats are in each measure. So we know there's gonna be 4 beats inside of each measure or box of music. And then the bottom number tells us what kind of note is gonna get 1 beat. So 4 just stands for a quarter, which stands for a quarter note. So when we have music that's written in 4/4, our quarter note is gonna get 1 of those beats. Now there are lots of different time signatures in music, not just 4/4, although 4/4 is the most common one. So you just wanna make sure that when you're looking at a time signature, you know top number is gonna tell you how many beats are in each measure, and then the bottom number is going to tell you what kind of note gets 1 beat. So it's really important to understand your time signature so that you have a framework for how to count. Okay. Once we know our time signature, then we can move on to step 2, which is looking for the main beats first. So it can be really complicated when we see a measure that looks like this and we're thinking, wait a second, we're in 4/4, I know there's 4 beats in the measure, but I see so many different notes. What do they all mean? How do I count this? In step 2, we're looking for the main beats. So in 4/4, the main beats are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what you wanna do is you can either take a pencil, mark up your music, or you can clap or tap or however you wanna do this. I find it to be most helpful to take a pencil and to write it in, just so that you can have a visualization of what's happening with the rhythm. So you're gonna mark in the 4 main beats. So you would find where beat 1 is, beat 2 is, beat 3, and then beat 4. Okay, so just as a quick note refresher, of course we have our quarter note up there, which gets 1 beat in 4/4, but if we divide up the quarter note into 2 separate notes, we're gonna get 1/8 notes, which you'll see up there. And then if we divide 1/8 notes up into 2 separate notes, we get 16th notes. So we have a quarter note, we have some 1/8 notes, and we have some 16th notes. And then the 1/8 note with the dot beside it just equals 1/8 note plus a 16th note. Okay, I'm gonna start labeling my main beats and I'm gonna look for the low-hanging fruit first. So I see a quarter note there. I know in 4/4 that gets 1 beat. So I know that that's gonna be beat number 4. Now I'm seeing 2 1/8 notes and I know that 2 1/8 notes together equal a quarter note in 4/4. So I know that that's going to be another beat as well. At the beginning, you'll notice that we have 2 16 notes plus an 1/8 note, which equals 1 beat. And then finally our second beat, a dotted 1/8 note, which is just equal to an 1/8 note plus a 16th note, and then we have 1 more 16th note to equal the 4th beat. Once you've done this, then you have a general understanding and structure of the measure that you're looking at. Even if you don't know how to count all the other notes and all the other beats in the rhythm, at least you understand where the 4 main beats are going to be. Okay, so after we figured out the time signature, we've written in the main beats, the third step is we're going to fill in the in-between beats. Okay, so these in-between beats are gonna be notes like your 1/8 notes and your 16th notes and your dotted 1/8 notes and your dotted quarter notes, okay? So these are the in-between beats that are so much easier to find and figure out once we know where the main beats of the measure are. So in order to find these in-between beats, we're gonna divide our quarter note up into the smallest note value that we have, which is a 16th note. So we're gonna count the 16th notes 1 E and A. And then you can see how that would translate over into the 1/8 notes. And then finally, we would just hold out our quarter note for the whole beat, 1 E and A. So now that we know that we're going to be counting 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, we'll find it much easier to fill in the missing beats.
Okay, the first two notes are both 16th notes, so we're gonna count those 1 E, and then the third note is an 8th note, so we're gonna hold on to that for the and then we get to beat 2, where we have an 8th note plus a 16th note, so we're gonna hold on to that for 2 E and then we have a 16th note at the end of our second beat, so that's gonna be and then beat 3 is pretty simple because we just have 2 8th notes, so on the first one we would count 3 E, and then on the second one we would count and then the last note is the easiest because it's just a quarter note, so we're just gonna hold it out for the 4 E and So when we look back, we can clearly see the 4 main beats followed by the in-between beats. So now we would know exactly how to count this. Now I'm actually gonna play this on the piano. I'm going to change the notes from what's written there. They're all written as E's, but I'm going to change the notes, but it's gonna be the same rhythm. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and
So here's the thing, rhythm makes sense, but you just have to know how to break down the elements, otherwise it can feel kind of overwhelming. So next time you're looking at a song and you don't know how to count it and you're feeling frustrated, use this method to help you figure out the rhythm and to break it down so that it does make sense, so that you can confidently play the correct rhythm and know that you're getting it right every time.